Hello and welcome to AnyWho. We're on our second programme of this series of Doctor Who. And we're going to look at Boom.
Ooh.
Boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom.
And 73 yards.
73 yards all the way. All the way to
Yeah.
73 yards.
Yeah.
But
so,
nothing more. Nothing less. 73.
So I think the thing linking the two things together is the Doctor is ridiculously clumsy.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And rather than saying don't step, she should have said, look where you're bloody well going, you stupid man.
Well, there is that. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, where do I put my foot now? That is because he's Welsh, obviously, you know. And to discuss those lovely two episodes today, we have a very, very special guest with us. Possible future Doctor.
Yeah, we think
You
so.
heard it here
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
But frankly,
Or
would be a
Rani.
better Rani than the Doctor. We have the lovely Rachel. Hello.
Hello.
Rachel.
Hi.
So, yes, I sent you lots of messages saying, make sure you watch those episodes. You watch them today.
I did.
Oh, well, that's good because it's fresh in your mind.
It is very fresh.
And our somewhat aging cognitive abilities are might need the odd nudge here.
Yeah,
So, damn kids.
And boom, another appearance from Susan Twist.
Yes.
It wasn't Bone. I said Bone last week. It was Twist. Susan
Yeah.
Twist.
Yes.
On the front of the ambulances.
Oh, of course.
So she's everywhere.
She is.
Like a
She's
rash.
here. She's there. She's like Roy Kent for all you Ted Lasso fans out there.
So it's got to be part of the arc, hasn't it? She's
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely. Unless, of course, it's the massive ruse, as they say, when it's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it.
just exactly.
Yeah.
To be honest though, if I was to do it, no, I would be tempted to do stuff like that. If I was like
to
running
throw
the show,
people off red herrings.
absolutely. But also just for the whole point of like people who overanalyze. I mean, not that we ever do that.
No, of course not.
But so right, well.
Yeah.
Just to triply recap, as they say, we've had 2 episodes prior to these that were kind of
Playful.
I won't say lightweight, but humour was high on the menu.
Yeah.
And fun was, whether it's kind of like,
And then
the Beatles or whatever happened to the first one that I
Babies.
Babies, yes,
All the
babies.
babies.
Brave babies.
yeah, brave.
Very
babies.
brave babies.
Yeah.
But then whack.
Whack.
And Moffat gets his pen out. And
Oh,
Absolutely.
And it was a very
whips
clear
it out
shift.
And I tell you,
he whips it out.
He whips it out and uses it well. Inspired, for at least my take, inspired by a single incident from the classic series, which touched upon, but they've never had just taking that one little moment that only lasts about 2 minutes in an episode. And here we are, then it's stretching.
Are you
on.
talking to Eccleston and...
No, we're going to go further back to 1975.
educate me.
Educate you. Well, one of the most usually seen as one of the top 5 stories of all time, and that story is Genesis of the Daleks.
Oh, of course. Okay.
When the Doctor finds himself, standing on a landmine, and he gets spoilers for a story that was made 49 years ago. Harry and Sarah come to the rescue and wedge a rock between his foot and stuff. And that's that's the opening episode of the huge 6-part story. But they've just taken that one little moment and thought, you know what happens if nothing else happens?
You can't do that, yeah.
And for me, it was like a wow. It was
pretty
great.
wowy.
I loved it.
The bit I was talking about was the Eccleston and Captain Jack moment, where Eccleston mentions that he went to the place where the weapons were made,
Yes,
and blew it up. And then he talks about banana groves because that was his thing. How lovely the banana groves were.
yeah.
So this timey-wimey thing. You think that it's been blown up. But then obviously it's not, because in this episode. So where are we? Where are we?
Where exactly? When are we?
When are we? Yeah.
Exactly.
It just really. I mean, what was great about it was the tension. Was it didn't really kind of like lull at all. It stuck with it, and and the Doctor trying to put on trying to be the bravest one in the room to make sure everyone else is all right, but where he is the single most helpless one there.
It sort of reminded me of Midnight a little bit. A little bit. It had shades of that because it was just mainly in one place. I mean, they did have the army camp a little bit, but it was mainly in one place, and it was him stuck in a situation that he couldn't help himself really, and he had to sort of rely on his assistant, and then his assistant gets done in by the ambulance.
And what was nice about that is that Ruby, at least for the first time, and I'm sure for many times, it showed a very selfless,
very brave,
and there were just echoes of I mean, a character
Clara.
can be. Well, just Clara, but I mean, I remember there's a story called The Demons with the third Doctor, and the Doctor's about to be sacrificed, and she jumps in front of the demon saying, "No, take me instead. You just, I'll do anything." And it had shades of that, and then of course that bloke turns up and starts shooting at Ruby, and I thought, "No, what are you doing, mate? Stop it! I'm only trying to help."
But I love the funny little urn things that were squished.
That was
gross.
Super dark.
Very dark.
Yeah.
And budget level, I was like, I don't quite understand how we can look at that and go, oh, human. I think considering what's going on largely in the world right now, I was like, that's a very interesting way of condensing something down into this is what it represents now.
I mean, just a bag of guts, really, wasn't it? It was
it wasn't nice.
The odd eyeball in there.
Yeah.
Kids love that. But they do. They just do. But, I mean, it was well written. I mean, it was the classic sort of thing. It was like a situation that hooked you and peripheral characters that you actually did give a damn about.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you think, I don't really care about they've got victim written on their forehead or whatever. They're gone. And that wasn't the case here. I didn't expect when certain things happened
to
happen. And of course the knock-on effect as well with the daughter, which I don't know whether they're going to address at any given point, because I'm going to do a future spoiler for you now, folks. This story has lasting things, and a certain character who we've not seen the last of will be coming back next season. It's been announced already.
Ooh. I don't know who that one is.
No, I'm not sure either.
No. I'm not going to say any more on that one, but keep watching the skies.
Yeah.
But like I say, there's more to this story in the long run than we've been led to believe. But
I think there's a lot of things that are going to come back, because I think the one thing about Russell, his story arcs are just fantastic. I mean, I don't think Moffat could do it as well. He could do single episodes really well, especially if RTD was putting his finger on his head and making him do something decent.
I'm going to actually say something quite unpopular in a second.
Go on, you think?
Okay.
But I must say that Moffat still can't write women.
No, he can't.
And that was obvious in there that he couldn't write women, and of course I was saying that she had shades of Clara because that's all he can write. He can only write Clara. So
and for me, Clara was in it for way too long, so I started to switch off from Ruby because I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it made me feel that. But I think the good thing was that having him, stuck, gave us more of an idea of who he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we haven't so far really, sort of, apart from him singing a lot.
Yeah.
It's the once again, he's very fun-loving. And it's kind of like, I don't buy that to a degree. That cannot be the be-all and end-all.
No. That's his service
and it's
character.
like, are we a character of extremes? Are we going to be from, oh, isn't this great? Oh, fantastic. To
and then something dark will really happen.
Super dark.
I'm waiting for the breaking point. I feel like there's more to explore with him yet that we just haven't touched on.
Although it might not be, he might just be doing a Disney Doctor Who. So
it could be.
We've got to see, haven't we? And what's your irritating opinion on Russell T Davies and Moffat?
Well, they're better than me at doing this sort of thing, but then again, I'm not doing their thing. So,
no.
Okay, but the story arc thing, that we're only 4 episodes in, and we'll get to episode 4 in a sec. 4 episodes in, though, it's kind of like, how far projected are they in terms of the planning of it? Because there's nothing more annoying, and it isn't just Doctor Who that's guilty of this, where the story arc in itself, the idea is really, really good, but you find yourself thinking, right, okay, we need to get from A to B to C, but the journey's got to be just as interesting as that thing in the first place. And there's been time and time again, and this is what I mentioned before about an unpopular opinion among Whovians, etc. Is I actually thought a really good example of using a story arc or having a clear story arc was the Flux. Now the Flux was actually a shorter season, and benefited from it. It was much more kind of condensed and not kind of like, there's no fat on it, so to speak. Yeah. It was very, very lean storytelling from its episode, and the stories could be very wildly different from each other, etc. But it was very, 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 very dense. And I really, really enjoyed that, and I kept on thinking, "Where's this?" For all the people complaining about Chibnall, etc. I'm thinking, well, actually, you can do it. You can do it, but why did it take 3 seasons and then she had to go? It's like, well, all right, mate. Where was this in series 1 and 2?
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to
I
Boom
thought he
itself.
got better with Capaldi, really. He really sort of... I think Capaldi was also going, come on, mate, this is Doctor Who, this is what you've got to do. And I think he was putting a friendly arm around his shoulder and making sure he was writing the right stuff.
But then again, if he comes from the school, as two of us are around this table, of the classic sort of era in terms of that's his prime influence, I think that he's much more at ease in writing in a classical style, not necessarily stories, but classical style for the Doctor. And Capaldi absolutely fitted that because of since the show's come back, keep on AnyWho, it's 19 years old now, for crying out loud. Of all the kind of iterations of the Doctor since the show's come back, Capaldi's the only one I feel that could have fitted in so easily in the classic era.
Yeah, I think so as
well.
He was, stick him in,
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah. So what about the next one?
The next one, we're jumping very quickly into that. Well, let's go with the freshest take on that, i.e. the person who saw it today. And not last Saturday.
What did you think of 73 Yards?
73 Yards was like really reminiscent of the kind of Eccleston Tennant time, like the kind of the scary Doctor Who, the more horror influenced Doctor Who, which I quite liked, considering we started off so silly and so almost nonsensical, starting with babies, to then end up in this kind of weird supernatural element. I enjoyed it so much more. I felt really settled back into Doctor Who.
Yeah. You said a key word there, which I think for the first time, since since 2005, there seems to be leaning a lot more, as you said, into the supernatural.
Supernatural and horror, It felt to me like...
Which will all be explained with science.
It felt to me like one of the Cornetto trilogy. It could have fitted in there, with the zombies and the hot fuzz.
Hot fuzz is the best one.
Hot fuzz, hot fuzz, and the pub one.
The World's End.
End. Sorry, I can never remember the names of them. but it just felt like that, and that creaky pub, with the 73 yards on the sign. It just felt like the World's End. And I was thinking, crikey,
It was a bit American Werewolf, that pub.
It was American Werewolf in London. That's all I could think
just
of.
missing the late Brian Glover. That's enough.
But you know what's really saddened me? That place where the TARDIS landed is my favourite place in Wales, and I used to walk there when I was a kid, up from Tenby.
Dear.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining when I go back next, it'd be full of American tourists going, "Is this where the Doctor's TARDIS went?"
The TARDIS?
Oh.
Which one's a Dalek?
So that's that sort of. That made me feel a bit sad because it was my place.
Okay.
It won't be anymore.
Okay.
I love Tenby as well.
I mentioned this to you the other day about how I was really surprised. 4 episodes in, and it's what they will now refer to as a Doctor Light episode, which usually comes around about 7th or 8th episode within a season.
Yeah, but he's really messing them up, isn't he? Because the babies should really have come in the middle somewhere.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
But it's proof that she can do it. And for all these, there was all this chat before even the series began about like, there's rumours she's going to be going and this, that, and the other, which is all completely unfounded. And where these people get this from, and anyone who questions her ability can
she's
just
fabulous.
shut up and watch that one. Watch that episode.
She is
from beginning to end.
She is really good, and I think she's been good from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's very rare for me to warm to a companion so quickly, and I have with her. It took me a long time with Roseanne, with Wooden Lady. I forgot her name. Freema.
Freema. Oh.
I think she's quite. I think she's a very wooden actress. I'm sorry. And we all know the other one.
Karen Gillan. You're not a fan of that?
Not a fan of Karen either.
No. Oh dear.
Ooh.
So for me, I was actually a fan of Clara, but as you say, she changed.
What about Bill?
She changed every 5 minutes. She was a different person, but I actually like the actress. So there you go.
Well, none of them's top.
Bill, I like Bill. Yeah.
None of them's
I like
top
Bill.
Donna. So Donna is.
Oh, Donna Noble is
the top.
Donna.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think hers and David Tennant's relationship off stage makes the acting on stage so much fun because they really enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
and
the chemistry is there.
Yeah.
I know. Well, my two favourite companions, in recent years have been obviously Donna and Graham. Actually,
Really?
I like Graham because Graham. I like the grown-ups. I really do. I like the grown-ups who.
I like Graham, but he didn't get a good script.
No. But
sadly, the companions got all the opposition. Basically,
they missed the trick though. They could have had them on like an intergalactic version of The Chase. I think that would have been a bit meta.
Could have been.
We've
had the weakest link before, so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So back to 73 yards.
73 yards.
Yeah, once again, we had a Dr. Light episode, which was, they're a bit hit and miss. I mean, notoriously, was it Love and Monsters? The Peter Kay episode that is still to this day possibly the most hated episode.
Oh, I
loved it as a kid.
It's all right. It's okay.
The blowjob thing was a bit
was a bit
Yeah,
much,
there was a line.
Yeah.
But it did give us, was it the planet? Was it Clom?
Clom.
Yeah. I do like Clom.
From Clom.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed it. It was like you just said. It was just on that right side of creepy.
Yeah.
And creepy's great. Creepy's better than scary.
Oh yeah.
It's much more unsettling. It's the fact that we never saw her.
Yeah.
And couldn't quite work out what she was.
What she was doing. What she was saying.
Whatever it was, doing the Macarena in the back in the distance.
Repeated gestures.
But the thing that everybody's been going on about is, who is she? And what did she say? And I just think it was a psychic paper situation that whatever the worst thing that they could possibly know about Ruby, that's what they heard, and it was different for every person.
Chinese whispers.
Yeah. So I think she had a perception filter, and I think she's also got the psychic paper. So it's sort of going. Ooh,
there was an influence in it that I haven't. And I only thought about this morning, by the way.
Yeah.
There was a Stephen King influence in there from the story The Dead Zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is about a guy, for a little recap here, it's about a guy who has a car accident, wakes up from 5 years in a coma to discover that he has an ESP sort of thing just by touching somebody. If he touches somebody, he can see something's happened in their past, their present, or their potential future.
Yeah.
And in one of them, he meets this absolute sleazeball politician. And the guy's like shaking hands with the public and stuff, and he's a real just irky sort of guy. And he shakes this guy's hand, and he has this premonition of 10 years in the future. He's president of the United States, and he's starting war with Russia, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And so he decides.
So it's a very similar thing.
So he decides there, and then he's going to assassinate him. He's going to kill him, and of course. Spoilers, no spoilers. I won't spoil it, but it's one of Stephen King's best stories, and the ending is, and the adaptation by David Cronenberg is fabulous. It's one of my favorite Cronenberg films with Christopher Walken.
So, but it has that feel, doesn't it? That she suddenly realizes this guy needs running out of town, and the best way to do it is to get the woman. And I thought that was a really good bit. I was like, what the hell she do? Oh, I know.
Yeah. I loved those imagery when people were like, they go up to her, use this little image, and then all of a sudden they just go like, oh my god,
And they were
like,
run off
what did she do? What did she say?
And then old blooming Lethbridge Stewart, even she was
Kate.
that
was a heartbreaking moment. That was.
Oh, Kate was
Stand down.
Yeah.
And I love that she got through something on the floor, because that would be my reaction.
I was like, oh yeah, there's like some actual female rage there.
Yeah.
That was a decent write-in.
Yeah.
Or impulse, one or the other.
Yeah. That was.
You're saying
decent.
she just didn't cry?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I hate companions that cry. Just want to put my hand through the screen.
Screaming and running up and down corridors. I thought that was as a prerequisite.
No. When they start, it's all right screaming. It's when they cry, I want to put my arm through the television and give them a good slap.
I liked when she threw the glass on the floor. She said? Yeah. What did she say? Something
Someone came over to her and she was like, right, and she was just like caught up in the moment still, which was
like, I did it. Well, and
yeah.
That kind of thing,
Yeah, that was great.
Just want to give the girl
but
a hug.
I didn't like the ending. I didn't like.
No,
the fact
I
that
didn't
she
feel
grew
like
old and died, and then suddenly she was on that hillside, going, "Don't step."
No, I didn't enjoy the ending either. That was the only thing that put me off. Also, I've struggled to warm to Ruby just because I feel like there's too many similarities to previous companions, Clara and even Rose Tyler at times for me.
Yeah, I think Rose and Christopher Eccleston, they've done a lot of very similar scenes, with no heart.
Exactly, and that's what's lacking.
Yeah.
So I found it harder to warm to her, but I'll tell you what, when a mum drove past her with such a cold face, that was more heartbreaking than seeing Ruby's reaction.
And sitting outside the door, that was really sad.
Yeah.
Did they speaking of Rose's mum, did they fix the ceiling?
I don't know. Her house it must be in the...
It's only a small little flat, because it was like the TARDIS landed in it, made a huge hole in it, and I'm just saying,
Yeah, no,
it's the magic. The magic of television. Her flat is
continuity.
It just keeps coming back to life.
Tom getting hit in the face with the frying pan, the cat in Tom and Jerry, and then in the next scene it's back.
He's fine.
So, it's very much like that.
Maybe
I love the grandma though.
Grandma's amazing.
She's great. I remember her. This is a deep dive. I remember in the early '80s. She was in an early Channel 4 sitcom. Called No Problem, about a young family in Willesden Green, and she played Sister Peach Melba. That was her actual name in it. But anyway, she's fabulous. But it's quite scary when you see somebody and now they're playing grandparents. For me, it's like, hold on, no. You're young, aren't you? What does that say about me?
Well, she probably is quite young, but she's playing older than she is.
There you go. It don't crack, baby. Anyway,
now I read an interesting fan theory on. And I know you don't like fan theory, but
I'm interested.
I actually thought it was quite interesting. They seem to think that all these episodes are not in a normal situation, that they are actually in a television show.
Right.
Okay.
And so they're going to be in Bridgerton in the future.
Yeah, they are.
I've seen an episode of Bridgerton.
Okay.
And the babies on the spaceship was very CBBC.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed, the 73 Yards was very sort of horror type.
It's like with
John
Hopping.
Yeah. I don't know about the landmine one, but they seem to think that's the case. But they also have had a theory that Susan Twist is somehow also Susan Triad, which is I don't know where that came from, which is an anagram of a TARDIS. So she's a TARDIS.
She's a TARDIS.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, because I mean, obviously, the significance of the name Susan.
Because she's moving through time.
Will that ever be addressed?
I don't know. Anyway, but she was in there in 73 Yards. She was the walker on the cliff.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's just everywhere.
She is.
But the fact they actually addressed the fact that do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah.
Have we met before? And it's like...
But I'm unsure why they keep breaking the fourth wall as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done it in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's the other bit that they mentioned about the television thing. Yeah. They were breaking the fourth wall.
We keep breaking the fourth wall and having these weird musical numbers, and then little things like Mavity that keep cropping up but not being addressed yet, that makes me go, okay, what universe are we actually in?
Yeah.
Because none of it feels like
so there is
our
something,
world.
There is something odd. It might not be that it's television land, but it feels like some sort of... as kids from
Well,
Fame.
I hope, I really, really hope they're not going to jump on the multiverse sort of, let's call it bandwagon.
Well, they've called it Whoniverse, haven't they? Which makes me go, okay. And we've already split off. We have a doctor now that looks like Tennant that's living with his version of Donna. And so I feel like we are building up this. I
mean, 4 episodes
universe.
in, we are that's yet to be addressed.
I know.
Yeah.
But
we do know, and this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer.
I don't
Mel
know.
is coming back again. Yeah. We will see more of Mel. But
And also, when they scanned Ruby in the TARDIS, did we ever see a close up of what that revealed?
No.
That to me is questionable.
But when she went up in the music thing with all the bits of plastic music all wrapped around her, she started doing the song, which is the Time Lord song.
It is
course,
Time Lord.
yes.
There's lots of stuff that I don't know. I'm not getting human vibes from her. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think she's human either.
Okay.
But I think when we had the whole arc with Maisie Williams, is that her name? From Game of Thrones, and like she was just like me. It was just supposed to be like just a bit extraordinary and a bit out there. There's just something about Ruby that doesn't feel human.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another
but it's the
loose
old
end.
it's another,
there are several
it's
loose
another
ends.
Clara thing, isn't it?
It is.
Who is she? The Impossible Girl.
The Impossible Girl, or
Yeah, maybe she's the Doctor's daughter.
But she's a snowflake.
Who's still out there.
I mean, they look alike.
Yeah, they do.
They do. I mean, but then again,
but I bet you Davy's wife would be really naffed off if they replaced her with someone else.
Could be a
but if she has,
recreation or her own
Time
child,
Lord DNA,
exactly, could be passed on.
giving it all that.
Yeah. Well, she didn't though, did she? When she died in the thingy, she just came back as the same person.
A bit like the 10th and the 11th Doctor. Or is that no? 10th, 11th. So this is where the numbering gets all a bit skew-ish.
15 and 16.
24 and 9. 2, 3.
Who knows?
I know the trouble is it is getting that way. I had to think the other day, what number are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, so confused.
Well, I do like the fact that it's a reminder that nothing just because we've seen it how it is, it doesn't mean it's everything in anything is set in stone.
No.
And just because fans or etc. say, well, he's the second row, isn't he? Was he? Who says who? Mm-hmm. Who indeed. But I don't know. Just enjoy the ride, folks.
I think that is the case. Just enjoy
the ride.
Yeah.
But 73, both Boom and 73, 2 back-to-back very, very, very solid
very
episodes.
strong. Yeah.
They are.
I think so.
And primarily within the writing.
It's made me more excited. I think the first 2 I thought, oh no, is this how it's going to be?
Yeah, I was so disconnected.
And I was
Try not to get your hopes up though, because
I'm trying not to.
just sit back and go, right, okay, it's on. Let's watch it. Let's take it as it is. Let's not like.
The next one looks like some panel game, so we're still in the television realm.
Yeah. Something like The Circle or Big Brothery
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want to, it will happen. It will happen, but we've yet to have like a decent sort of siege under in some place or alien
on the moon.
on the moon, alien invasion or whatever, and where something practical that we know in everyday life, where microphones become whatever, or whatever. Yes. What?
Not my chest.
I was going to say
the Daleks.
You know what? I don't miss them.
You're bored of Daleks, aren't you?
It's not so much that. It's just like a little bit on the, a little less is a lot more.
I'm just wondering whether
they go away for a few years.
Whether my favourite Davros is going to be standing up next time.
What, Julian?
Yeah.
Julian Beach, yeah. Yeah, well, of course. Well, we did see him as young Davros for the was that Comic Relief
and it caused so much trouble.
Oh, it was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
But is it canon?
I know that makes me laugh when everybody says, "Is it canon?"
Makes me violent.
Shut up, or I will fire you out of one.
Absolutely, we'll canine you. But no, I mean, it's so many. So we talked about this last week about. Who would you like to see coming back? I just want to be surprised. I think, what? They brought him back? Oh, whatever, the Merker. And if you don't know who the Merker is, folks, is widely reported to be one of the worst monsters in Doctor Who history. from a story called Warriors of the Deep, pantomime horse, essentially.
I've seen some bad ones.
Yeah, and we have definitely seen some. Yeah, but I don't.
You know what I want to see? I want to see yet another somebody in a tank nearly drowning, because I miss that. That it comes from the old classic. Everything had somebody in a tank nearly drowning.
Absolutely, and
Thunderbirds used to have it a lot, didn't they?
The water just coming up like that.
Yeah, but then it'd go back down again a bit, and then it'd go back up again. But they nearly killed somebody.
They did. Sophie Aldridge, Ace herself, nearly was killed during the shooting of an episode called Battlefield, and the outtake footage is absolutely fantastic because Sylvester McCoy himself saves her, shouts that you can see that there was a problem.
There was a crack in the glass.
There's a crack in the glass, and the water, because she's in a tank, and it's only got a small little window, so she's kind of pressed up again. The water's coming up, but then the glass started to bow, and there's electronics there, and she could either get frazzled or drowned in reality,
or stabbed with glass,
and so McCoy was like behind the camera, and you can hear him on the footage. He's basically,
there's something wrong.
There's something wrong. He can hear him go, "Shit, get her out! Get her out!"
Yeah.
And this pair of like huge, big burly fellas just grab her and just yank her out, and then the glass does break.
Wow.
And,
sorry,
I'm just going to.
My ovaries just went there.
I'm just going.
Big burly fellas.
And with your money, you can help. Filthy male.
I know I am.
Absolutely,
terrible.
Nothing's changed. I'm surrounded. But anyway, but yeah. So in a tank. What would you like to see?
Yeah, I want a tank.
Ooh, I would like to see an old kind of villain kind of creep back in. The same way that we've kind of had a resurgence of like the Toy Maker. And then we've like expanded that with Maestro. I'd like that to kind of, rather than the Cybermen, and we've like had, is it the cigarettes mentioned a couple of times since? I'd like someone like the automatons to come back. Just like rebrand them, kind of a previous villain that we've used previously, and bring them back stronger and better somehow.
Just do it better.
Yeah.
Do it better. I was always like, it's like with the Silurians. I actually was disappointed with the new breed of Silurians because they humanized them so much.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that they're not human. They're quite different, but no, we have to have
it's a bit
cute
like
little faces and all this sort of thing,
It's a bit like Star Trek. They suddenly stopped having really unusual looking aliens, and they all just had a little bit of prosthetic here or there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
because it's just cheaper.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And also, you don't have to spend hours putting them into
hair and makeup.
Are we allowed to mention Star Trek here?
No, we can, because you've been talking Stephen King, so
yeah.
Okay.
Meh to you.
But I'm not talking about Star Wars.
So, where do you think it might go? This particular Doctor, do you think he's gonna go really serious, or do you think we're gonna have more?
I think so.
Dance?
I think we are gonna. I think the fun ones are gonna be less.
Yeah.
And we are, because we have to build up to something. I know that this season is only like 10 episodes.
10
episodes. So, we're getting there sooner rather than later. And it has to come to a point when we get to that penultimate episode where we get to that, tune into the season finale next week or whatever, where it has to be.
Are we going to the cinema? That's the question.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm busy.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if I'm invested enough yet. There's been such tonal whiplash between the first two episodes and episodes 3 and 4. Yeah. I don't know whether it's going to be that we see the Doctor become more serious in a serious scenario, or is it going to be a big song and dance number and he's like, I am not putting up with this. And he breaks.
Will it be another Spice Girls number?
I mean, who knows? That's my favourite number so far, by the way, out of the 3, 4 that we've had so far.
Better than the Scissor Sisters.
Oh no!
Thank you.
Scissor Sisters.
Because that was on the right side of wrong.
Yeah, it was very like contrapuntal. It didn't really fit what was happening, but you kind of loved it.
And if you know the song,
yes,
it's actually a super dark song as opposed to spice up your life. I did like that because you could just tell that Neil Patrick Harris was having the time of his life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
although he didn't say he was, he was trying to make out he wasn't.
But it was weird watching Bonnie Langford kind of not dance well, which is kind of like, that's Bonnie Langford.
Well, she's got problems with her knees these days, I should imagine.
But no, it's that kind of it's just like a slightly ironic that she's getting dragged around like that, and you're thinking, Oh, she could dance rings around him.
Yeah.
She could, yeah.
Oh, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Looking at the Toy Master and the parallels to John as the Master, you're like, it doesn't feel like we're seeing anything brand new yet. Like we're playing to the strengths and then we're trying something new, but I really want something brand new. I really want to be surprised.
I'm missing the old style Master with the old magician's beard. I really, really.
Which laugh? Do you want an Anthony Amy laugh or a... Actually, no, Roger Delgado didn't really laugh. He used to say things like, "You fool." Yeah. And he'd always say things, "You will obey me."
Yeah.
And give him the look.
And Pertwee used to call him old chap.
Oh, yes, old chap. Yes, absolutely.
I quite like that. That was when I was a child. That's the bit I really enjoyed. Their little verbal sparring that they used to do.
But that was much more Holmes Moriarty.
It was.
Going on there as opposed to just two guys who hated each other. You know?
Yeah.
And actually, you got a sense that they did like each other, and that's never really been repeated since. It's just kind of just wound each other up now, beyond belief. And as for the Master itself,
Tennant sort of, you could see that he wanted him to be okay.
Yeah.
But obviously it was something that couldn't happen.
And the Missy dynamic that did seem almost like
they were going to be okay.
That was the fractured lovers.
Yeah.
Just kiss, please, and be done with it. It was that kind of thing. But of course, and as for the new guy, I liked the new Master because he was truly unhinged.
Yeah, he was.
And I liked that
unhinged.
kind of just super. There's no message. I don't care. I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah. I liked him. I found him less panto villain than previous ones.
And I hope we haven't seen the last of him. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, as in terms, I'm sure the Master will come back, but I'd like to see him as the Master again.
Yeah, well, we'll see, won't we?
Absolutely. But on the whole, though, so just a little wrap before we just wind this up very quickly. On the whole, we are happy.
Yeah, I think I'm happier than I was the last podcast that we did.
I can understand why.
I was really disappointed, and I was thinking, oh God, I wanted Russell so much, and now I've got this.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
But these last two have sort of proved that he's on the right track.
Mm.
And I think he's in Ormer's warehouse in Cardiff. I'll have to pay a visit at some point.
Absolutely. So, folks.
Yeah. So we'll be back again with the next two.
In a few weeks.
Yeah, in a few weeks. So can't wait for this next one. Just hoping it's not going to disappoint.
And thank you to Rachel for joining us.
Thanks, Rachel.
I've been trying to get Rachel on this show since before we even started. I told you we were going to do it.
You did.
And now you're here.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome to come back.
Love to.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.